any to go, no-go for MOCAPTV news broadcast. Audio.
Go audio.
7.
Video.
Check.
6.
Live stream.
No worries, mate.
5.
Anchor check.
4.
Where's our anchor?
3. 2. You're watching the MOCAPTV News Network. 1. Welcome to episode 12 of MOCAPTV, a video news magazine for the members of Missouri Wing. I'm your host, Lieutenant Colonel Brad Sanker. It's been a trying time for our nation since the last episode. On April 15th, two brothers devastated the city of Boston by placing 2 bombs near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. At the end of this episode, we'll show you what you can do to remain vigilant. If you're a return viewer to the show, you've probably already noticed drastic changes to the layout and the set. While we're not finished yet, we do want to go ahead and introduce some new features. Throughout the show, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see links to upcoming stories in this show. These links are like sections in a magazine and will allow you to skip ahead to stories that you might be interested in. We do this for your convenience because we know you don't always have time to watch a full episode. However, we'd really appreciate if you joined us for the entire show from start to finish. In addition, we'll also provide links to websites and print copies of some of these stories when they're available. You'll also find links to special content throughout the show. Several members from the Wing recently participated in Marksmanship Training. This training provides the basic criteria to achieve the Junior NRA Marksmanship Badge. Members from Springfield, Joplin, and Branson all completed requirements at the Andy Dalton Shooting Range in Ash Grove, Missouri. In addition, members from Winsville Composite Squadron completed the requirements at the Bush Wildlife Reserve in St. Charles County. At the beginning of the year, the Wing Commander issued a challenge to increase membership to 1,300 members in 2013. We're almost there, just shy of 1,200 members. Public awareness is an important part of recruiting. It helps us to show prospective members what Civil Air Patrol is all about. Recently, Lieutenant Lynn Redfield from Table Rock Composite Squadron provided a briefing to the Retired Officers Association down in Branson, Missouri.
We have senior members and we have cadets. Now, just for the sake of clarification, a senior member does not mean retirement age. A senior member is simply someone who is over 21 years of age in the Civil Air Patrol, or who joins the Civil Air Patrol after their 18th birthday. So there's no age restriction and no physical restrictions to join Civil Air Patrol. Immediately following the 9/11 attacks, the Civil Air Patrol was called out to fly in the skies, and they were the only civilian aircraft that was permitted by the FAA to fly over that area. And they did so taking pictures and helping in rescue efforts.
The event was like a treasure chest for the unit, with prospective members having skills in leadership, aviation, and military backgrounds. So what are some of your recruiting success stories? We'd like to hear your stories and comments about this topic. You can share them in the comments section below, or you can send an email to the Recruiting and Retention Officer. We appreciate you watching MOCAPTV, and sometimes we throw in some special tricks just to keep your attention. The Public Affairs team loves to see your videos and photos and share your stories. Here's Captain Mike Cooper with more from Around the Wing.
In this segment of Around the Wing, members from Lee's Summit Composite Squadron tour the National Airline History Museum in Kansas City, Missouri. Members from Fort Leonard Wood Composite Squadron and 119th Composite Squadron participate in a hike during Joint Emergency Services training. Members from Springfield Regional Composite Squadron enjoy a lunch break during Marksmanship Training. And Major John Burrows, Group 1 Commander, attempts to keep up with cadets during fitness testing at a weekly meeting for the Grain Valley Flight. For Around the Wing, I am Captain Mike Cooper.
We're gearing up on flood season in the Midwest, and state officials are closely watching the water in the Mississippi and Missouri River. Here is Col Emmit Williams with a look back on how technology affected the floods of '93.
One of the things that would have helped would have been access to the computers, which we did not have. Don't get me wrong, we had internet, but it was very limited. Access out of Marshall in those days, you were lucky if you had a 2400 baud internet connection in those days. From that perspective, the internet, the access to mapping, the access to weather, okay, because we had to rely on what the pilots were telling us, what the weather service could give us, the ground-based radar out of Kansas City. We had no access to satellite photographs about where the weather patterns, how they were changing, what they were doing. From an internet point of view, the entire operation could have been smoother, especially for weather purposes, if we'd had that access. Cell phone wise, we'd had a tremendous advancement if we'd had the cell phones we've got today. The ability for smartphones, for example, to be able to use your smartphone to access the internet, to send text messages. Text messages didn't exist, or if they did, we certainly didn't know about them. From the enhancements of the internet and the cell phones would have been a real improvement.
You'll be able to see more of the flood of '93 in a special commemorative video that we'll make available in July. The Wing hosted a Commander's Call on April 20th. Normally we try to film these events to share with everybody in the Wing. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do so this time around. However, notes from the Commander's Call have been emailed to the unit commanders. The next Commander's Call will be July 20th in Marshall, Missouri. This event will honor the men and women who participated in the floods of '93. Check out the Wing calendar for more information about this event. We'll also send out email invitations to all the members in the next couple of weeks. Since the beginning days of this organization, Civil Air Patrol has been the eyes of the home sky. This organization has provided aerial support for events like shuttle launches and the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. And the original members of the organization are recognized for their support in protecting the borders from German U-boats during World War II. Our charter prohibits us from participating in law enforcement activities. However, that doesn't stop us from being vigilant. Many of our training activities teach us to look for situations out of the ordinary. That's why we encourage you to check out the Department of Homeland Security's initiative, If You See Something, Say Something. You can find more information about the campaign right here at dhs.gov, or for mobile users, you can click on the link in the description below. From all of us at MOCAPTV, we remind you to be always vigilant. Thanks for watching.